You are being called upon to help find solutions to improve our quality of life. High desert residents are being urged to respond now to this online survey. Joseph W. Brady offers an acute observation from within the workings of a political arena. What is the most important duty of a board of directors or supervisors?
But the most important thing is to hire your CEO. So when I got to the college, and I had been around politics, I thought a fair amount at that point, I didn't think it would be so difficult. But when I got there, what I found was we had a very toxic atmosphere. We had no trust between our constituency groups and management. I think that people in management, I think the board had failed. I think the board had failed for years and years and years. I think that the board was just walking in emotion and doing whatever the superintendent president said versus the president superintendent working for the board. Through working with Dr. Chris O'Hearn, and then we went with Peter Allen on an interim basis. And then when we finally hired Dr. Wagner, the secret to success was hiring the right CEO. So while I thought as a board member trustee that I could say to somebody, I want those bathrooms painted, that's not what my job is. My job is to set policies, set a budget, but the most important thing is to hire your CEO. So if you're on a city council, your number one job is hire your city manager. If you're on the board of supervisors, your number one job is to hire the CAO. That's your most important job, because what ends up happening, Terry, and I found this the hard way. I bucked the system because I really thought that I knew how the system would work. Ultimately, you have to get a board that works together for the common goal. Our board finally had to decide, and we had wars for probably 3 years. We had a community group up here that, Dr. Pat Caldwell and Holly Noel and Diana Carloni and Shannon and multiple. Brandon Wood was actually a part of that group. Got involved and said enough is enough. So we had a $3.5 million structural deficit. We finally did that, but we had to chip away at it. We had to really reestablish a trust with all of our constituency groups. Today, when we go to our board meetings, my blood pressure is the lowest it's ever been for the last 3 years. Why? Because we've hired the right CEO. Dr. Walton that took over for Dr. Wagner. I mean, Roger Wagner was just absolutely the right guy at the right time. He believed in servant leadership. He had no ego. It was all about the better of the team. And I think that he brought a lot of trust. Once you bring that trust in, now you can make the fundamental changes. Do I expect that our college is going to, again, have financial issues to deal with in the future with rising pension costs, rising healthcare costs? All those costs are not decreasing, they're going to increase. Are they going to have it at the county level? Are they going to have it at the city levels? Yeah. The question is, how do you deal with it? And how do you, and those are the hard decisions that take, if you're on a 5-member board, 3 votes, on a 7-member board, 4 votes, and you really have to work. I mean, I'm proud of, one of the greatest accomplishments I've had personally or professionally was learning how to work with my friend today, John Pinkerton, who's a trustee, an avid, a sports fanatic, a leader at Silverado High School. One of probably the greatest counselors I think that has ever worked in the entire high desert region. There's not anybody that he hasn't touched.
This is his system.
And when we finally sat down and figured out how to work together, we figured out to work together based on students. And ever since then, that's why I call him my sixth brother. And, I love him to death, and we talk all the time. And we disagree. He's the first one to say, Joe, I'm a left-wing socialistic Democrat, I'm a right-wing conservative Republican. But you know what? The two of us can be civil. We can have a conversation. We can be respectful. We can hug each other, and we can walk away. Not like they're doing today in Sacramento or even on some local politics. Some of our local politics, I think, have a way to go, but we'll see. Hopefully, this survey is going to help bring the pieces together and really allow our government officials to show us what they got. Show us what you got. Okay, get to the table. Once I'm done with this, I'm done. I'm not running for Congress. I'm not going to run for supervisor. I'm not running for dog catcher. I'm done. I said to my wife at this point, December 13, 2022 at 6 o'clock, I will serve my community and I will be done, and I can then do other things. Yeah.
This online report presented by Bradco Companies, the Community Table Restaurant, and the Holiday Inn in Victorville, supporting every effort to improve the quality of life and standard of living for all residents throughout our high desert communities.